Alright, it's live.
Hi.
Hello. We are ready. Getting set. It's almost time for our seminar, Estate and Legacy Planning, how to avoid the three biggest mistakes people make in estate planning. Are we ready? Yeah. Please join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you are, for some educational session this evening. We'll be back in a minute.
So this is cutting on is like hello. 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 The two lights. Has this one been turned off? It's not turned on at all. Because I tested this one at work. Hello. Hello. Okay, did you try it? And that spreadsheet was in the box with all those pages, so it's somewhere around here. So this is on the so this one is on now. Hello. Okay, so this is working now.
Hello.
Let me try. Let me see if this is gonna increase the volume. Okay, cool. Okay, this is. Let me talk in front of the.
Hello, can you hear me from back there? Is it breaking?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, it's not breaking.
Yeah.
I can't hear myself, but as
good.
long as you can hear me.
It's good.
Okay, so maybe she should use this one.
Yeah.
Is the volume okay?
Yeah.
So she should use
That's
this
it.
one.
That's better.
Okay, so I should continue just a little bit.
I literally wanted to go dance. Oh my god, I'll be like, what the hell? Let me even see if anybody's doing it. Let me just see. Oh, there's nobody. I don't think there's anybody yet.
We'll see it later.
Wait, who's that girl?
Carry the whole seat. But I have to get office equipment for these ones. Yeah, go back to grab my stuff. So I see that.
All right. Yeah. All right. It was nice. I know. Can't hold me to my back. Let's go. No.
Where's the spreadsheet? Why would you make your own when people who are already registered so you just check in the house? Mochi? Sorry. Because the rooms have right. So you have how we can check it. Like, for example, I will cover Let's make sure. All right. You're to that for my laptop. It'll make it. Yes, that's fine. But it's okay. That's it.
I think I just print. I'm really sprints. I thought I did. I brought no. I didn't print out. Whoever checks it.
So when laptop is that or? Were you able to get it done? Were you able to get it? So as the pony, I just asked for the name of the registered show check it. Someone needs to be at the door. One person needs to be opening the door. One person needs to be looking at the registration. One be at the door. Okay. So you keep there. Ask them, the name, check, and just have them so that they don't change. Yeah, hi, you're welcome.
Hi there.
How are you?
I take you to the sign up.
Yes.
Exactly. That was her. Tony. She's registered separately. Yes. I'm blessed. How are you?
Oh, she's meeting. I didn't see her. Oh, she's meeting.
My first name is Vicky. My name is Victor. Last name is Al. But inside she found it. I guess.
Okay, we're good.
It's okay. Purple's my favorite color, so every time I saw purple, I'm like, okay, thank you. No, I can't hear you.
Is this okay, now I can hear you.
Hello? No, is it on?
It's on, I hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now. All right.
On the dots. Like so much different. No, no, I didn't know you. Oh, I'm still no, it's extra. You can tell them we can take the snacks.
Thank you. Yesterday, somebody did. I don't know. TINU. TINU. Nope. Thank March, it's in October. Yes.
Derek McKenzie. You might make it a different stuff. Our daughter will sit in this to begin with, but is there a separate space for kids?
How do you disconnect? Okay, in case someone call you.
Do you know if there's a wireless account that we could access?
The Wi-Fi. I don't know. Actually,
Sure.
is this?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this.
Great. Can I borrow that for a second to get her set up on her computer? Thanks. All right, I'll take this either.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for being here this evening, for taking out time out of your busy schedule to make it here. We do not take it for granted. All right, we're gonna start now. Please help yourself to some snacks if you've not already done so, and also the bathroom. If you have to use the bathroom, if you go out of the door, turn right and make another right. We have a key to the bathroom over there. What else? So we're here today for estate and legacy planning, how to avoid the three biggest mistakes in estate planning. And I believe this is a very important topic to consider, particularly because we've lived our lives, a major part of our lives, working and acquiring assets and building families. And we want our assets and loved ones to be well taken care of, whether we are here or not. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So this evening we're going to be looking at this in details, or in as much details as we can. I'll be taking questions at the end. So you have in your folder, you have a notebook. You have an orange worksheet. You have a lot of things, but you can jot down what you need in that piece of paper. My name is Attorney Jumoke Oladapo, your estate planning attorney, your trusted one for that matter. Thank you so much. Alrighty. I don't know a lot of faces here, but you trust us enough to show up. Thank you. Alrighty. We're going to be spending about 2 hours here. Sorry, we started a little late, but we're not going to leave late. We're going to leave before 8 or by 8 o'clock. So it's a 2-hour meeting, and we'll have opportunity for questions and answers. This event is organized by Ivylaw Law Office, and Ivylaw Law Office is in Greenbelt. Our office is opposite this building, and we do immigration law and estate planning. And I'm favored or honored to be the owner and founder and managing attorney at the law office. Law office. It sounds like tautology, but it's not. The second word, Ivylaw, then it's a law office. All right. And Ivylaw stands, we took it from, quality schools, those Ivy League schools name. That's where it came from. We want to offer quality legal representation to all our clients. The best way to learn today is to please turn off your phones or put it on silent or airplane mode. You deserve this time for yourself and ultimately for your loved ones. So if you can please do that for us, we'll appreciate it. So a few housekeeping. This is an education session. So as we go on, we discuss, we ask questions, and we give answers. Don't disclose a lot of personal information because we're recording on YouTube. We're on YouTube Live, and it's going on Facebook. All right? They may not be seeing your face. They're seeing your back, but they hear what you say. All right? So don't put in a lot of personal information in your question. And also, this forum does not create an attorney-client relationship. When you engage your services, That's when you become our client and we now have a client relationship. However, whatever information you put on your worksheet, orange worksheet, that's confidential and it's not going to be shared in any way that is not okay. Questions will be answered at the end of the presentation today as much as possible. Write your questions down and we'll address everything to make the best use of our time together. And we have a orange worksheet. I've been mentioning it and mentioning it. So, this is the worksheet. You should have one in your folder. It's going to be interactive. So while I'm presenting, I'm going to be saying some things. For example, I'll say, if you want to keep your family out of court, check this box. And whatever I'm asking is in the box, the third section, the box 3. Okay? You know what you need, okay, as we go along. So please truthfully and honestly check the box as appropriate. We'll want you to fill the first part with the information, the second part, whatever next step you want to take, okay, you can check it. And how do we serve you? We'd like you to complete this first, and also please submit it at the end of the day. When you submit this worksheet and you stay tuned to the end, you're going to be given a bonus. We call it a golden ticket. This is the worksheet. Who wants to get a golden ticket? So, the golden ticket is going to give you a complimentary one-to-one meeting together with me to talk about you, the people you love most, and how to protect them. The value is $750, and it's going to be a gift certificate. We're going to give it to whoever submits their orange worksheet. And then, if you decide to schedule what we call a family wealth planning session at the end of the day, which is the strategy session that the golden tickets give you, you have a $250 gift card towards any service we provide for you. Okay? And in addition to all that, how many of you have like emails, online bank accounts, what else? Apps, am I right? Stocks, well, all those things. And we usually have usernames and passwords. Who among us has more than 10 usernames and passwords? I do. I've lost count of how many. But you know what? We have a gift for you called the digital asset checklist. Okay? And you're going to have that when you schedule a family wealth planning session with us. All right? So please, we want you to stay tuned to the end. We will be as prompt as we can so that we'll not waste anyone's time and we will have the best of time together. All right, I want to know, we invited a lot of people through different means. So I just, with a show of hands, I want to know, how did you find out about this meeting today? Facebook ad, 2, thank you. Personal invitation or emails, 1. Okay, personal invitation. So she invited you, so you can. Thank you. Who got a postcard, a mailer in their mail? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for coming. How else did we advertise? E-newsletters. Thank you for coming. What else? Any other means I did not mention? Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your presence again. So a little about us. Our office is called Ivylaw Law Office. We're putting this together. And a little about me. I'm Attorney Jumoke Oladapo. I am an immigration attorney as well as an estate planning attorney. Those are my two areas of specialty, and I'll say they are my focus areas. So I am very, very good in immigration, and I'm very, very, very good with estate planning. So I'm not a general lawyer. I'm not a traditional lawyer. We focus to make sure we serve our clients the best. All right. So we started Ivy Law in 2010, and over the years, we've been privileged to have a lot of commendations and accolades, and some of which are this. We've been named Lawyers of Distinction, top 10 best attorneys in immigration, top attorney on Avor. We have a lot of 5 stars review on Google, and they're not cheap, they're not bots. It's because we have excellent client services. And also, I'm part of the personal family lawyer, where I'm licensed specifically for estate planning. All right, so that I can serve my clients in a modern estate planning way. That's my family. And a little more about me. Whatever we do, whatever I am doing as an estate planning attorney, I'm here to serve the community, all right? I'm here to make sure that people don't leave a mess for their families. And ultimately, what this brings is that we do whatever we do when we do estate planning for the people we love most. Those are my whys. And I know you have your own whys. All right. Our team, we can't get this done without my able, incredible members of staff. And we have there my team, the team at Ivylaw. We have myself, Attorney Wilberforce, Miss Moji. Attorney Wilberforce is an associate attorney. Miss Moji is a legal research associate. Miss Princess is a legal assistant estate planning, and Miss Taya is a legal assistant admin and client services. So we are all here to serve you. And right there in the back is Miss Princess. And you met, when you were coming in, you met Miss Taya. So we want to go to the meat of the matter. Do you currently have an estate plan? I think estate plan is a big word sometimes. Am I right? Yeah. But if I say, do you have a will? Does it make it better? Alrighty. So do you currently have a will? If you do one, you can raise up your hand. Okay, thank you. Do you currently have a power of attorney? Do you currently have a healthcare directive? Do you know what's called a living will? Do you currently have one? Do you currently have a living trust? Those are some of the pieces of what make up estate planning. So when we say estate planning, it's a big word, but basically this is what it means. I'll tell you what it means in a minute. Okay. So, if you said no to any of those questions, why don't you have one yet? Does this fall into any of the categories? I'm too busy? Alrighty. I'm too young? Alrighty. It's too expensive, or it may be too expensive. Alright. It's for the wealthy. I don't have enough. Is anyone in that category? Oh. All right. But if you do, why are you here? Maybe you're here to get a better understanding of what you did in the past. Because in the past, you might have gone to a traditional lawyer where you told him or her, I need a will. and I have a husband, and everything I have should go to my husband, and everything my husband has should go to me. Am I right? That's the way it was done. And then the person will just drop the document and give it to you, and you sign and say, I have a will. But then at the end of the day, you may find out that that will not work for your family. Alrighty. So you'll get some better understanding of what you did. Or maybe you did an online document. DIY. All right. I meet a lot of people that said that they do it yourself way. But you know, when I take a review of what was done, I'm like, is this what you want? And they'll say no. Is this what you really mean? And they'll say no. So it may not work out. Or maybe you did one 10 years ago. Who has an outdated plan? Or 20 years ago, or 15. I have a story. Someone, let's say her name is Barbara. I hope no one is Barbara here. She did a plan, she did a will. She has 3 children, and she has 3 assets, 2 houses, and a bank account. So, you know, it's equal. One house to one child, one house to the second child, and a bank account to the third child. Then it had a lot of money. Then she continued to live a life, and along the way, she sold one house. Then, 15 years later, she passed away. And before then, she closed the bank account. So, because she planned well, am I right? By the time she passed away, there was only one house left. And, and the house was going to go to the child that was supposed to be distributed to. Unfortunately, the person she named as a personal representative was the person that was supposed to have the bank account. And there's no more bank account, and the second child does not have the second house. So that the will work for her was outdated. The law has changed. The assets have changed. The beneficiaries did not change. But then the personal representative did not care to do anything about executing the will because he was not going to get anything. So the sister had to sue the brother to get things done or to become a personal representative, and it became a litigation. Was that what the mother wanted? No. So when you have an estate plan, you don't just do it and put it on your shelf. You have to review it from time to time. Alrighty. Why are you here today? Can you, 2 people volunteer and tell me why they came? Great. Thank you. Any other person? Yes, ma'am. All right. You will have a better understanding, and you will get more knowledge about how to put things in order. All right. If you came to have the total assurance and comfort that your family will be taken care of the way you want, and the people you want will get what you want to give to them, then you're here for the right reason. All right? Did you want to have the peace of mind of knowing that your assets actually go to the people that you want it to go to and not to someone else? Then you're here for the right reason. And not even to someone else, maybe some to the government because of estate taxes. You're here for the right reasons. All right? What will happen to your assets after you die? Yeah, unfortunately, we get taxed while we're alive and we get taxed after we're gone. Am I right? How many taxes do you pay? Can you tell me? Personal property, sales, income, VAT. Do we pay VAT tax? No. No. Which is the one? Real estate. A whole lot. Too much. At the end of the day, probably take about 40% of our income on taxes, if not more. But if you want to, after you pass away, you're still going to pay taxes. You know the name of the tax? Probate tax or estate tax or inheritance tax. So, if you want to save on taxes and you really want more of your assets to go to your beneficiary, then you need to plan. Maybe that's why you're here. You know, Prince, that's a popular musician that died a few years ago. The taxes taken from him was probably over like $1 million or more in probate tax. So, as he properly planned, they would have saved some. If you're here to make sure that your choices regarding your health and well-being are properly written down and honored by the people you want, and you want your wishes to be turned into directive regarding your health care or finances, then you're here for the right reasons. Okay? People think having an estate plan is just about when you pass away. How many people think so? Planning is just for when you pass away. No, it's also about when you're alive and in the event of incapacity. All right. So when you become incapacitated, and let's things happen to people, you know, traveling on the road, they have an accident, and they're stuck in a hospital for weeks or months because they're in coma. Or some people just keep on running their lives and running their lives, and then they get so stuck. You know, things happen. If you don't have a plan on who will represent you in the event of incapacity, you're calling a judge to choose someone for you. You don't want that, do you? So you want things documented in such a way that your health will you'll choose who you want to make healthcare decisions for you. You'll choose who you want to make financial decisions for you or help you out with those decisions you've made in the event of incapacity. So that a judge will not be doing that for you in the court. So another part of estate planning that a lot of people miss is this. Their assets are lost to the government because it's not properly inventoried. How many of us have like 5 bank accounts, 3 IRAs or 401ks, money markets, you know, all those things? And let's say you have seven, a combination of bank accounts and money markets and CDs and investment accounts and stocks and bonds, 401ks, TSP. Can you name some more? That's enough. And your loved ones, either your spouse or your child that you love some, just know a few. Maybe they know just about four of that. They don't know about that bank account in somewhere called Investors Bank that is not in Maryland. They don't know about that CD in one Bank of America. Maybe you use Capital One. I don't know what you use. But they don't know about that account in M&T. But they know what you use. Am I right? When you pass away, they're only going to account for what they know. And at the end of the day, the bank sits the money sitting there, the stock market, the 401k account is not being operated for 3 years and all that. It's going to go to the government. Your assets will be lost to the government. In Maryland, there are over $700 million worth of assets in the Department of Unclaimed Properties. All those funded assets in Baltimore, some of them are part of the inventory. Why? Because people are not just communicating with their loved ones. They don't know. They don't want their loved ones to know everything they have. Even you may not even know all the things you have because you have too much sometimes. Am I right? Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes, it's happened to me before. My husband was asking me, "Hey, I need some money. I need some money," and I'm like, "I don't have this money." And he was like, "Well, you have this IRA now. Why don't you go?" I've forgotten about it. You understand? Because I just put money there and I forget about it. So when he was asking me for money, I forgot about it. So that can happen to anyone. So how much more the people that you choose to do stuff for, how will they know everything you have? You have to properly inventory for them. And a lot of lawyers miss this out. A lot of traditional lawyers miss this out. But in our office, we make sure you have what we call an asset spreadsheet, so that you have all your assets properly documented where they are, so that your executor or personal representative or trustee knows what you have, where they are, and your beneficiaries can get the full benefits of everything, and your assets will not be lost to the government. Alrighty. So, if you want the comfort and the peace of mind and the total assurance of knowing that your family is well taken care of and they wouldn't have to end up in a mess of court or conflict, if you want to have the peace of mind of knowing that your assets do not end up in the hands of the government but in the hands of the beneficiaries that you'd love to have them, and the total assurance of knowing that you've done the right thing for your family, and then that your choices are turned into directives and they're implemented, then you're here for the right reason. Who is here for the right reason? Alrighty. So right now it's almost about time for us to use our orange worksheet. Please fill out your name, your information, and the third section is the interactive section as we go on. Alrighty. So what is estate planning? That big word that we've been using all day. It's planning in advance and naming who you want to receive the things you own after you die, or in case of incapacity, who will take care of your business. And a good estate planning is much more than that. When we talk about insurance, for example, when we say estate planning is more than that, a good estate planning attorney will look at your IRAs, your life insurance, will take a good look at everything and how you own them. Because some people, for example, have minor children. Am I right? Maybe a lot of us don't have minor children, but then in our life insurance policy, we'll say we do 50%. Let's say we have 3 children, 2 children, 50%, 100%. Primary beneficiary, contingent beneficiary, nobody. That's wrong. The children, if you pass away, the children will not be able to have that, for example. But when you do your estate planning with a professional that knows what they're doing, they're going to review all those with you and guide you on how to do things right. So that's part of why a good estate planning is much more. That's an example. There are a lot of big fears and myths when it comes to estate planning. Planning for it will hasten its occurrence. How many of us have that mindset? No, that's good. So, in Africa, where I came from originally, that's a big mindset. People don't want to plan because they think when they have their wills done now, they're going to pass away next week. And you dare not talk to them about having a will. But we need to shift a mindset because planning for it is not going to make it happen. Not likely. All right. It's just like here in America, they tell us to buy homeowners insurance when we get our homes. Am I right? Does it mean that your house is going to burn down the next day or in 1 week time? Am I right? All right. So putting the plans in place does not mean you're going to die tomorrow, but it's better just in case you pass away. And these are some myths. It's for the old folks.
Why are you looking over here?
No, it's not for the old folks. I still have plenty of time. You know, how much time do you really have? In August, a few months ago, is it 2 months ago? That was August. There were 5 people that passed away that I knew, and none of them was old folk like that. And I was like, what? 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 You said 5 people. So life is not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed to get to 80 years old. If we do, great. Do you understand? So why not make a plan so that you know you've done the right thing for your loved ones? And if you go away at 40 or you go away at 80, you know that things are done right. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
You may not have as plenty of time as you think you do. All right. I don't have enough, and it's for the wealthy. Some people think, oh, I just have a house and a car and a bank account. That's it. I just need a simple will. And by the time I sit down listening to those ladies and gentlemen, I'm like, your matter is more complex than a simple will, my dear. You don't just need a simple. But you think you don't have enough. But you know, if you have assets, by the time you have a home, if you have a home, you have something. By the time you have a car and like $20,000, you have a regular estate. You have a small estate if you're a single person and you have less than about $50,000 or less in estate. You'll still go to probate, but it's a small estate. You understand? And regular estate, 100,000, anything over $50,000. Raise up your hands if you have over $50,000 in assets, everything put together. Almost everybody probably does. By the time you have a car, or you have a house, or you have a bank account, or you have a something, by the time you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, it's there. Or a will resolve everything. Who believes that? A will does not resolve everything. It's just a start. It's good to have something. Do you understand? But it doesn't. In fact, we'll go through why you need a will, why you need a trust, okay? Oh, and the difference and all that, we're going to go through that. If you think you have an estate, everybody does. Do you have an estate? Yeah. Believe it or not, everybody has an estate. In fact, everyone does. Do you have a car? Do you have a furniture in your home? The chair, the bed that you sleep on? Do you have a home? Or a life insurance, checking and banking account, a savings account, investments, other real estate investments, personal possession like jewelry, artwork, cryptocurrency. What else? What else did I mention? Your clothes. Those are part of your personal effects. And we all have clothes and shoes. Am I right? And some of us have jewelry, expensive ones. Um, some of us have the Louis Vuitton and the Gucci bags. Am I right?
Yeah.
All those are part all those are part of our personal effects. Do you understand? And when someone passes away, when you pass away, and coach, when someone passes away, they'll tell you, and the person will have to go through the probate court if they don't have a will or if they have a will, okay? And they'll ask you, what does that person have? And then you'll have to write an inventory of everything you have. And you'll have to sum it up because they want to tax you based on what you have. At least also they want to know what you have to know what you want to distribute. All right. So do you all have an estate? Yes, we all do. No matter how large or how modest it is. And you know what? If you have a modest estate, you have someone to pass it on to, then you need to be doing an estate plan. Whether you have even if you don't have children, maybe you have a brother or sister or a child or a cousin or a nephew or niece, someone that can get what you have so it doesn't end up with the government. Do you understand? So you need to put a plan in place. Because honestly, people are not mind readers. If you don't make a plan, the state has a plan for you. And the plan of the state may not be what you want. All right? This is a food for thought. Who needs your protection? Can you jot that down in your notes? Who needs your protection? Or what needs your protection? Please write it down. I answered the question for my who. That's my family, my children. They're still young. Oh, two of them are now over 18, so I have two adults now and a young one. Um, so a lot of us have a lot of this. So there's some of the things that needs to be protected, and then who needs your protection. It's important because um, of everything I've said earlier on. Do you have them written down? Alrighty. We're gonna get back to that later. So I've already spoken about the mindset shift. Now when we this is it, when we're planning, a lot of people plan for death. Am I right? But we don't want to see estate planning as planning towards death or planning for death alone. We want to see it as planning for life. All right. When you plan for life, you put in the authority in your hands to determine what will happen later, whether you're alive or not. So, for example, while you're still alive and you become incapacitated or disabled, are you dead then? No. But what you do or what you did not do will have effect on you. So, for example, if you become disabled and someone needs to take care of you, your health care, your banking and financial needs and all that, and you don't have the legal documents in place to make them be able to do it, or you did not nominate someone, you call it for trouble. So you are a mom and you have a husband and you have an adult child that is not the child of the husband. Do you understand? Now the adult child wants to be your agent or power of attorney, and your husband wants to be your power of attorney. Who is going to be? Because you didn't specify. Maybe you want your child to be. I've seen situations like that. But the husband thinks it's the default. Then you know what happens? They have to go to court to sort that out. And that takes 3 months to choose a guardian, and the judge can choose whoever she wants or he wants. And the person the judge is going to choose may not be who you really want. But is it worth the conflict? No. But if you've done the right thing by having a power of attorney in place, you're choosing who you want to make decisions for you. Okay? Then you're not allowing the stranger judge to make that decision for you, and you're not allowing conflict in your family. But when you're planning for life, see it in a whole new way. Number one, you're going to be making informed and empowered decisions for yourself. Number two, you're going to be saving your family thousands of dollars by planning now. Because by the time you wait, then the government is going to plan for you. and then it's your assets will just be depleted unnecessarily, and your beneficiaries will not get what you really want them to get. Number three, your assets will not be lost upon death. We spoke about having an inventory done. Number four, you're protecting your family money from the outsiders, from creditors, by doing proper estate tax planning with your estate planning. And also, let me tell you, when someone passes away, there's something called newspaper publication. And they put all the creditors on notice. They put it there 2 times. Hey, this person has passed away. Does he owe you some money? Come and take your piece of cake. And that is usually done before the beneficiary will be able to have their pie. So you make a lifetime of right, legal, and financial decisions because you're using an expert attorney to help you, and we're there for you. And also, you help keep your family out of court and out of conflict. So you're empowering yourself by planning now and planning for life. Alrighty. Your plan will work ultimately when your family needs that. If you do it the right way, it's going to work. But if you don't do it the right way, it's going to do the opposite. Like the story I told you. When was the last time you reviewed your estate plan? If you got one. Yeah, someone had one. Someone had one. When was the last time you reviewed it? Oh, great. So it's current. So if you don't have a plan, the state has a plan for you. And let me show you an example of what is this. So I told you about reviewing your plan from the story I told earlier on. Am I right? That you don't just put your plan in the shelf or in your safe deposit box. You have to review it at least every 3 years. That's what we recommend. All right. So do you have a plan? No. What's the state's plan for you? The state's plan for you is called guardianship in the event of incapacity, or probate in the event of death. If you pass away without a plan, okay? Or if you have a will. I told you earlier on that a will is not the answer to everything. In fact, just having a will is like suing yourself before the court. When you pass away, first of all, you want to avoid conflict. You don't have a personal representative or a trustee or someone to be your agent in place. Then you're calling for conflict because more than one person may be interested in taking that position. And if there are more than one person for different reasons, one may be honest reasons, one may be after the money. Yeah, and they think it's their money, but it's not their money. They don't know they have fiduciary responsibility. I've gone to court before and I've seen someone say, well, I'm the personal representative. I use the money to buy a bag, and I use the money to pay my bill, and I use the money to personal reasons. And I'm like, it's not your money. It's the deceased money that you're supposed to administer. No, but you need to understand it's on your tax. So, avoid conflict by choosing your agents, first of all, so that there's no confusion. And choose the right one. Number 2, when a person passes away, I've told you about guardianship court, am I right? In Maryland, guardianship court takes about 3 months before COVID to go through the process. All right, so, and by the time they choose, there's a family, okay? So this man, LC, he has a son, and then anyway, someone had to go to court. The son had to go to court to be chosen as a guardian over his person. So when you went to court, you didn't have a good credit, so the judge did not choose him as a guardian over the property. The judge chose him as a guardian over the person, but not as a guardian over the property because he didn't have good financial record. You know, this is the son. Am I right? So the judge chose a lawyer to be the guardian over the property. So the lawyer started managing this man's assets. And for every court hearing, that's $80 an hour. The lawyer will bring along the people working with him. You know, the lawyer began to make bad decisions for this man, and all his assets dwindled. And then they now moved him out of his home to one home of facility that he did not really like. They moved him from another facility to somewhere that is less okay because his money was going. Do you understand? Had he chosen his son as the guardian over his money and person, would that have happened? Maybe not. But the lawyer was good enough to take his money. So we need to look at these things curiously. So number one, the judge is not going to be the one making a decision for you if you choose someone by yourself. Number two, you choose the person that you want. All right? Then, at probate, the same thing. You choose the people you want to manage your estate. Who will be your administrator so that there are no conflicts. I told you a story earlier on about the father. So at the end of the day, the mom died. Am I right? So when the mom died, fortunately they have a will, so the dad became the what's it called? The executor or personal representative of the will. So there wasn't any conflict there. But there was conflict because she didn't have a power of attorney. You get it? But in the will, you have to choose who you want so that there's no conflict. If you don't choose someone, then you have to apply to the court. Anyone can apply to the court. Any interested party can apply to the court to be a personal representative. And that may not be who you want. All right. So these are some of the fees that go into the probate system. The attorney's fees will be taken. The executor's fee or the personal representative fee will be taken. That's about 3%. The appraisal fees. How much is appraisal now? I think it was like 400 and something before. We'll take the court filing fees. The creditors will take their money. You'll be bonded and all that. By the time the water is coming out, it's dropping. So, but we can make better plans out of this. There was a $1 million worth of land that someone had as his estate. And at the end of the day, when we went through probate, almost $37,000 was as gone into attorney's fees. Just attorney's fees. So how about all the other ones? So by the time the beneficiaries get their portion of that $1 million, probably $400,000. Do you understand what that person really wants? No. So if you don't have a plan at all, or if you have a will, I told you earlier on that having a will is like suing yourself because it goes through the probate court. A lawsuit you file against yourself with your own money for the benefits of your creditors. That's what it is. Maryland probate system, I've told you some already. Number one, others, it's public, okay? So that means if you file your will in court and the person passes away, it's a public record. We can go there and look for the person's will, who is the beneficiary. And some real estate agents and those who sell estate properties, they look at those. Credit card people look at those. They want to know who to prey on. It's public. Also, it could take up to 12 to 24 months in Maryland to probate an estate. So that means your family or your loved ones or beneficiaries are not going to may not be able to have what belongs to them until after the estate is closed. Do you really want them to stay for 2 years before title passes? You know what people do anyway is that they just continue to live in the house in the dead man's name, but does the assets really pass to them? No. It has to go through the proper system or the proper channel before the assets can pass to them. Then the cost of probate. I've told you about the cost of probate when I showed you the tech. It could be up to 5% of your probate assets. So a good calculation is if you have an asset of 500,000, I don't know math. You can help me. Is that $10,000? $25,000? You could be spending up to $25,000 in probate costs without proper planning. Do you want to give that away like that? Who wants to give $25,000 away to third parties and lawyers and government? No. I'd rather have my children have that or give that to charity. Am I right? Yeah. So, lack of planning costs you a lot.
It's also important that the information you're providing us, that we take advantage of it, because oftentimes, sometimes, at least in my case, someone stepped in.
Sorry about it.
His niece stepped in because I was not adopted by my dad. She was my stepfather. She got everything. And I know what he wanted, but that didn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's true. Because nothing was reading down, am I right?
It was sad.
It's sad. Really, there were some people, a couple of people that had probate issues. You don't want to be among that number. They had wealth, maybe they had knowledge, but they did not implement. They were procrastinating. And some had, some done, but not properly done. Alrighty. How many of us have young children? Alrighty. I have one too. If you just have a will, okay? Or you don't have any plan in place at all, your beneficiaries may receive their assets outrightly and unprotected. You know, you name those children as beneficiaries in your IRAs and in your life insurance, am I right? And a lot of other assets. Let's say at the end of the day, it's distributed, it's given to them. When they turn 18, before they turn 18, they wouldn't be able to have it. Okay? So someone will have to be nominated to help them manage properly. Well, once they turn 18 and you have a $500,000 asset, do you want to give your $500,000 to your 18-year-old child to manage at that point? How will they do? Maybe not go to college. What do they want to go to college for? I'm going to college because I want to earn a degree to make me some money. I already got the money, so why am I going to college? Am I right? And when they got the money, then what are they going to spend it on? Everything, a car, a gift, whatever it is, apart from the relevant things. So you want to make plans in such a way that your children don't get your assets outrightly and unprotected. Unprotected in the sense that, let's say, for example, one of them got into an early marriage, got married at 20, 21, am I right? And with a new husband. Of course, they'll have some money to spend at some point, am I right? And then there happens a divorce. Let's say the money is down to $300,000. Because it's not properly protected at that time of divorce, that spouse, the new spouse, is going to get like how? of that money. Is that what you want? Lack of planning can lead to that. So we need to be, as professionals, we look at all these little details and intricacies when we're planning for our clients. That's why you can't do it yourself. You can't do online estate planning. You can't be DIY because you're not thinking as deep as a professional will do. All right. How well do you know your children or your siblings? Exactly. When it comes to you know the game Monopoly, you know how it can be so intense. Am I right? And so people can fight over Monopoly, over the money on that table. Am I right? Over the assets on those tables, the Potomac assets. How much more in real life? When there's money on the table, you don't know what is going to happen. The good guy can be the black sheep of the family. So it's better that you make a plan for yourself and reduce or minimize or eliminate conflict. Do you understand? Than calling for a conflict and mess. Also, there's some people, there's some children, they want to cut the house into two. Meanwhile, maybe you want the house to be sold, or maybe you wanted the house to be kept for, as a real estate income, rental income. But I don't know what you want because you didn't make a plan and you didn't state it out. So you'll either sell your house, or someone will decide to be living in the house forever. You understand? Or there's this bitch. I'm entitled to it. She can do whatever she likes with it. Oh, I know a situation of someone that really wanted peace for his family and trusted one of his children. And he was like, hey, child, just go to this person, do my will for me. There's some people that want their children to be involved with their estate planning. Am I right? So this guy asked this child to go to someone because, they know someone that maybe can do it, not a lawyer, to get a will drafted. And the person got a will drafted for that. And the guy signed it. Well, all the validity requirements were met, okay? But the content was wrong. Because what the father wanted wasn't the content. At the end of the day, the person that he asked to help him gave the most portion of the assets to himself and left the others siblings disinherited. So they ended up in court, and now there's sibling rivalry. And the matter's been going on for a few years. Is that what the father wanted? He tried to have a plan, but he did it the wrong way. He was trying to save costs. You know, he did something, but do it the right way. That's all I'm telling you. Don't do shortcuts when you're doing those things. Your kids may even be at risk even if you have a will. Okay? You know about nomination of guardians. When you have a young child, in the will, you'll say, part of it is saying who you nominate to be the guardian. But that will take effect after you pass away, am I right? Because the guardian will now step up in your place after you pass away. Because you put the guardian in the will. But a lot of people forget that they may have some accidents and just be incapacitated in the hospital, in coma for months and all that. Or maybe in a family emergency. Who will take care of that child, particularly if they're young? Do Do you understand? So imagine you have a young child, you have a 9-year-old, and oh, what age can it be with a nanny? Let's say 7 years old, and there's a nanny in the house, and then you had an accident, and then the police comes, and emergency, they just come, look at your wallet, check your address, go to your house, knock on your door, they find the nanny, you know, oh, is this so-so-so's house? And you say yes. Or the nanny says yes. Do you have authority to, do you have a young child there? Yes, he's a young child. Do you have authority to take care of this child? Says no. The answer is no because there's no written document saying you can take care of this child. Do you know what will happen to the child? Exactly. Child Protective Services will take that child and the child will be in their custody for some days. So it's important to have temporary guardians or short-term guardians in addition to long-term guardians. Okay? It's important, very important if you have a young child. Because you don't want your child to be in the custody of Child Protective Services while you recover. You want them to be with a family. When a family member comes, probably they'll have the authority to get them. But with estate planning, particularly in our law firm, we have what we call the Kids Protection Plan, where it says we're able to make nominations for both short-term guardians or temporary guardians and long-term guardians in case you pass away. And in addition, for those who have like blended families or single parents and things like that, you're able to make decisions about how you want your child to be taken care of. What type of relationship do you want that child to have with the father and all that stuff? So that it's not complex. It's not, and you know what? It's more likely than not that your wishes will be respected because you have it clear and in writing. Am I right? But if you don't have it, you're causing a mess for yourself. So it's important to look at that as part of your estate plan. And a traditional lawyer will not get to that. Healthcare directing. How many of you know about Terry Scheibel? In the 90s, you know. Did she come back? No. So the father and the parents and the husband were in conflict whether she should be taken out of life support or not. She was in a vegetative state. And I think one of the parties wanted her to be off life support and the other was like, no. So this became a litigation, okay? And she was on life support and the matter went from court to court to court up to the Supreme Court and up to the governor of Texas then. And it took about 10 years to litigate that case. And that woman was on life support for probably over 10 years. How much money would have been drained on medical bills? Do you understand? For the simple reason that she doesn't have a healthcare directive or a living will. And more importantly, do you want a situation like that for yourself? No, no. And it's a very sensitive situation, okay? When two people are there to decide for you, and one person loves you so much, they don't want you to go. They were like, oh, we still have hope. We still have, she may come back in one day, in 1 week. And the other person was, maybe the person has a scientific mind and very logical, and just says, she's useless, let her go. I bring that, let her go. Do you understand? Now, two people that love you are at conflict about what to do. And it may cause a lot of mess.
Yeah.
You don't want that for your family. So it's better you decide for yourself and you put it in writing. How do I want to be taken care of when I'm sick? How do I want to be taken care of in different situations? Do I want to be on life support or not? If yes, how long? Do I want transplant of my organs or not? Even MBA asks you, and you say yes or no. So, so you need to make these decisions and make them clear in writing, so that you're not letting other people make those decisions for you, and you're not putting your family in a mess or in conflict.
I just, I work in healthcare, and oftentimes you see this is so offended.
And that's true. And there are a lot of medical documents. I think there's one MOLSP, and there's some. The doctors make you sign some things. Am I right? Even I went for something the other day. What did I go for? I can't remember. Colonoscopy. And they were asking me in the phone, "Do you have a healthcare directive?" We're advising you to go and do one, because they know that if something goes wrong, they want to know who to call. Do you understand? So it's true. So take this thing seriously. And some people will say, "Oh, I already told my spouse's name is there as my next of kin," or, but it doesn't always go as easy as people think. So make those decisions ahead of time by yourself, so that you don't end up in court, or you just create a mess for your family. So we spoke about a will, okay? So a will is a legal document which you use to select people that will act on your behalf when you die. No, you use that to nominate people that will act as your agents when you pass away. And also, you can determine how your assets is going to be distributed using a will. Okay? And we also said that a will takes you to the probate court, takes your agents or beneficiary or whoever your representative is to the probate court. So there are a lot of terms, okay? Executor is the same as personal representative. All right, so I think I may interchange that, and sometimes I call them agents as well. So, but you can plan better, okay? We've spoken about just having a will or having nothing and what will happen. Am I right? But there's a better way. Who wants to know the better way? There's a better way of getting things done. There's a better way of preserving your family assets. There's a better way of keeping your family out of court or keeping your family out of conflict. There's a better way of saving time. Do you understand? There's a better way of making the decisions now so that no one is making it for you. And there are a lot of complicated decisions that people have to make that it's better you do it in the better way. And that's by having a fully funded living trust. And I said reducibility provisions. Okay? A fully funded living trust. And this is why, and what we're talking about today is the revocable living trust. Okay? Revocable living trust. And why I said is fully funded is this. You go to an attorney or traditional attorney and you say, "I want a trust." And I'll say, "Okay, we'll draft the trust for you." They draft the trust for you. Maybe they have one meeting with you, put the trust in place, send it to your email. Then you don't sign the document because it's too much for you to understand or comprehend what is there. Am I right? You want to read it, but then you just keep it aside. All this 100 pages. Do you want me to read 100 pages of legal jargon? You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they pay the lawyer to have the trust done for them, but it's not executed or one. But even if they sign the document, then they don't fund it. Trust funding is very important when it comes to having a living trust. Okay? And basically, it means transferring your assets from your personal name to the name of your living trust. So anything that you have in your personal name, When you pass away, it goes through probate. However, if you have that asset in the name of your living trust, or if you have it as a joint asset, or if you have a beneficiary designated, it does not go through probate. You understand? So, for example, there's some people that have bank accounts and designate beneficiaries. The account goes to those beneficiaries. The same thing with life insurance. Okay. When it comes to having a house, a lot of us it's in our personal name, sole name, or as a tenant by the entirety when we're married in two people's name. And when one person passes away, it becomes to the other person. But what happens after that other person passes away? It will go to probate because that is in one person's single name. But you have to do certain things like retiring to make sure that the asset is no longer in the person's name but in the name of the living trust. That's a way for it to avoid probate. So that's called funding. And with disability provisions, in a living trust, it has some provisions that has to do with in the event of incapacity, in the event of disability, what should the trustee do? So it's a dual edged thing that serves both the purpose of a power of attorney, uh, in addition to an alternative to a will. So it's more sophisticated. That's the way I'll say it. It's a sophisticated way of planning to make sure things are done right. But not everybody needs a trust. Do you understand? If you don't have assets that will go through probate, you don't need a trust. But I'll tell you when you need a trust soon, okay? So these are some of the things that are important that will be done that has to be retired when you have a living trust in place. You have to fully fund those for your trust to work. All right? And that's the only way you can avoid probate. And when you avoid probate, you'll save time instead of 12 to 14 months. It could be done within 3 months or 6 months, depending on how fast your trustee is. You'll save on taxes, probate taxes, because everybody's not getting their piece of cake before your beneficiary does. And you'll be doing all you're doing in the privacy of the lawyer's office, not in the public. Am I right? And then the judge is not the one making decisions for you. More importantly, you've already made it by yourself, and the judge honors it because the revocable living trust is an agreement, and also it's revocable. That means you can change it while you're still alive. You can make changes. Okay. So I believe I've answered some questions about what's a will, what's a trust. So the next question is, do I need a trust or a will? I said earlier on that not everybody needs a trust. Am I right? But if you're in some of the situations, you may need a trust. So, for example, do you have assets over $50,000? And I think we agree that a lot of people do. Am I right? If you have a regular estate, you may need a trust. Do you own a home or a real estate? A lot of us, our homes are our biggest assets. Am I right? By the time you do the calculation of 5%, you'll know how much of the value of your home. You'll know how much will be going to outsiders and the government. How can you redeem that situation? It's better to have a trust than a will. All right? If you have minor children, you need a trust because they're not going to get that money until 18. And when they're 18, you don't want them to get the money still outrightly. Am I right? If you have a blended family, you need a trust. All right? I told you a story. Oh, I didn't tell you that story yet. All right. So there is a man and a woman. Let's say the name of the woman is Jackie. The name of the man is James. Jackie and James are married. They built a life together. Now they have a house and a whole lot of assets. And they have two children. Okay? Unfortunately, at some point in their life, James passed away. So they have a will, and the will says, "I give everything I have to my wife." Okay? And I give everything I have to my husband. So the wife now has everything. Am I right? So James has gone to the beyond, and Jackie decided to get married, remarried. All right? They have a house among other assets. When Jackie remarried, she did another will. And the will says, "I give my house and everything I have to my new husband." All right? You know she has two children, am I right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, she didn't inherit the children. She didn't give anything to the children. All right? When Jackie passes away, who is going to have the home? The husband. And if the husbands make a new will that says, "I give everything I have to my children," what's going to happen? The children get nothing. Is that what James wanted? Is that what James worked for and lived for? No. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's an example of what can happen with blended families when you don't plan properly. So if you have a blended family, you better do a trust and not a will. You have problem children, children that have addictions, children that have special needs and things like that. You want to do a trust because you don't really want to entrust money into their hands like that. They're going to spend it on what you don't want. So you want someone to be able to manage that fund for them in a trust. All right? You have a business, you need a trust. Um, so ultimately, these are some examples. So if you see yourself in any of those categories, you may likely need a trust. All right? But from all I've said, you need more than a will if you have all this. All right? So, who else wants to protect their inheritance completely? Like the idea of making sure your children don't lose their inheritance to a new spouse or a lawsuit. I gave that example. Did I give that example? Yeah. The best form of protection to have that will work is having a revocable living trust. Okay? And it's easy. It's easy to have one and it doesn't cost a lot. When you have a revocable living trust, you may be spending a little more than just having a will up front, but you're saving a whole lot more. First of all, you're buying yourself peace of mind. Second of all, you're saving your family dollars from outsiders. Everything that I've said earlier on. And you're not creating a mess. So how do you get started? Thank you. So it starts, but our process starts with what we call a family wealth planning session. Actually, I missed you using that orange worksheet. Am I right? So let's get to it. You did? Thank you. So who wants their family to be kept out of court and out of conflict? Can you please check that box? All right. You need to make sure your kids don't inherit money at 18. Can you check that box? I want to ensure that my children's inheritance is protected from lawsuits and creditors, future divorces, no matter how old they are. Can you check that box? I need to name guardians for my children, both short-term guardians and long-term guardians. Can you check that box if that applies to you? I need a power of attorney or a healthcare directive, or maybe you have one and you need to review them. Can you check that box if that applies to you? I need a living trust, or maybe I have one in place. I have an estate plan in place. I need to review my existing plan. Can you check that box? I need to avoid estate taxes. All right. Please check that box if that applies to you. So, in honesty, you know what you need. Am I right? I don't know because I've not seen the orange worksheet yet. But you know what you need and you want to take action. It's either you do nothing about it, but I know you want to do something about it, that's why you showed up tonight. Am I right? Or you try to help yourself and you mess it up. Or you seek the advice and help of an estate planning professional that will give you the value of service to get it done right. You want to do it, nothing.
The first time. Get it right the first time.
Get it right the first time. So it starts with what we call a family wealth planning session. That's a strategy session. It's a one-to-one meeting with you. So when you have a family wealth planning session, I meet with you. If you have a spouse, we meet with you and your spouse. Okay? And it's tailored to your family. So we take a good look at you, your family, your assets, what will happen with the state of things right now, and what do you really want to happen. And if there's a gap, we make recommendations to close that gap. And that's recommending that you have the right plan in place. Okay? But when you do a family wealth planning session, there is one big thing you achieve. You get financially organized. Because you'll have to tell me about your bank account, about your finances, and all that stuff. So you think about it, and you probably have an idea of how much you have. When I went through that experience, I was like, wow, so I have this much. I didn't know. That was what I said. But if I didn't sit down to do it, I wouldn't know. And I've seen some people that said, oh, I even thought I had more.
Yes.
You know. And more importantly, because you're doing an exercise to pull all your assets together, you'll be keeping your family out and assets out of the Department of Unclaimed Properties that we spoke about earlier on. Do you know that when I started this process, okay, and inventorying our assets, I found that my name was in the Department of Unclaimed Properties. And I was like, oh, I'm not dead now. What's it doing? What do I have there? I was very curious. What do I have? I'm alive and my stuff is in the Department of Unclaimed Properties. How about those who are gone? So I went, investigated it, and found out that there was a $500 that was sent to me at an address that I recently moved out of, and the check went back to whoever sent it, the government agency, and because I didn't claim it, it went to the Department of Unclaimed Property. So when I was doing my estate plan, I found out that happened, and I became $500 richer.
All right. Okay.
So part of the process, all right? But if I didn't do my plans, I wouldn't even know. All right. So that's one advantage of doing a family wealth planning session. Also, you make informed and empowered decisions by choosing the right planning level and option that you want. First of all, the family wealth planning session is a deeper educational session, and also you're able to make decisions at the design meeting. All right. So by the time you're done with the session and go into the design meeting, you are empowered enough to be making the correct decisions for you, your family, your loved ones, and your assets. You understand? It's not like you go into that traditional lawyer that says, I need a will, and they just give you the boilerplate will. We're tailoring everything to you. All right? Also, based on what your needs are, not what my needs are, you'll be able to choose the right level of planning that fits your family needs. All right? And we make it easy for you. Our fees are flat fees, so there are no surprises. So, how many of you have worked with lawyers before, particularly hourly rate lawyers? You don't know what an email is going to cost or what a phone call is going to be. At the end of the day, by the time you find, get your first bill, and it's happened to me before because I did family law before. My clients are usually very upset by the time they get their first bill because they're like, the money went so fast and they get discouraged along the way. But we wanted it to be such that you are certain about how much, what you spend or what you're investing, so there are no surprises on fees. So we made it flat fees, agreed upon in advance. All right? And you know with certainty, your family will be expertly guided with love throughout your life and in the event of incapacity of death. So our family is also relationship based. We're not a transaction, one time transaction attorney. So if you are our client, we know you, we'll work with you. We see you as a human being, not as a file. Then, or what?
Or a bank account.
And not as a bank account. We care about you, your family, and we want to do the right thing for you. So we keep connected with you one way or the other. So, for example, you'll be on our e-newsletter list. You'll get information from us from time to time about estate planning or immigration. Then we reach out to you at least once a year. We want to check upon you because I said people change, beneficiaries can change, the law can change, your assets can change. Am I right? I've seen situations before where someone that in a plan 3 years ago, the person that she chose as an agent or trustee passed away. That means she has to choose another trustee. Am I right? So we make sure that those changes are made and we encourage you to call us. And we don't bill you for calling us. Always has to be reasonable. But one, we check on you at least once a year or twice a year to how are you doing? Any changes? How can we help you? You understand? Then we invite you also every 3 years to review your estate plans. If there are changes to be made, we review it for free, and if there are changes to be made, you can pay for the change, which is usually not much. All right? So that's about the family wealth planning session, and that's where we start. And at the family wealth planning session, when you choose to engage our services, that's where you sign the engagement agreement that you made up. You choose your level of planning, then you make part payment. All right. We make things affordable, so we have like payment plan. Do not procrastinate. How many of us do procrastinate? Please, it's when it comes to estate planning, this can happen because it's like I'll do it tomorrow. I don't need it. It's not necessary. I spoke with someone who was about 80 years old and was like, it's not urgent. I'm like, you're 80, so. All right. So, are you thinking about doing estate plans? Do not procrastinate. You don't want to leave your family at risk. No, it's not worth it. You don't want to leave a mess for your family as well. And you want to build your legacy. Do you understand? Legacy planning, that's part of what we do. So, one of the things that we do that I didn't mention is the fact that people give materials, but what about your intangible assets, your values, your stories, your experiences, your voice? How do you give those to people after you're gone? We help you to make that part of your estate plan. Okay? So we want to make it easy for you. Thank you for staying. And we have a golden ticket. I spoke about the golden ticket earlier on. Do you remember that if you came early? Yeah. If you want the golden ticket, please fill out your orange worksheet and submit it. When you submit it, we're going to give you a $750 gift certificate towards a family wealth planning session. All right? And this means that when you come for a family wealth planning session, instead of paying for it, we're giving it to you without charge. However, you have to use $20 to secure your appointment. So we're giving it to you for $20. The value is $750 for a new plan, but those who have existing plans is $950 because we're going to review, then we'll do the meeting. All right. So this is a valuable gift that we're giving to you today to secure your appointment because we want you to come. Well, we can refund you, but we won't. It's going to be an admin fee. But anyway, it's please turn in your orange worksheet and get a $750 gift card. That's number one. Also, do not procrastinate. Would like you to schedule a family wealth planning session. Okay, now you have the gift card that you can use to schedule a session. All right, so please go ahead and schedule it. It's a 2 hour session, 1.5 hour session to 2 hours. That's valuable, and you're gonna know so much more, and you're gonna be able to do a lot of the things I told you about planning for life. All right. So if you want to schedule a family or planning session, my staff, Miss Princess and Miss Ted, they're gonna go around and you go meet them at the back, and they're gonna give you two things. We're gonna give you another $250 gift certificate. And you know what that $250 gift certificate is gonna be used for? It's a credit towards any plan that you choose to do with us. Well, first of all, as a planning session, you may choose to engage or not. Okay, so but make use of it. But we'd love you to engage, and if you engage in services, you're getting a $250 credit towards a trust plan or a wealth plan. And the third plan we have is a family plan. And their date. So we'd want you to schedule tonight so that you'll get a date, and be able to cash in on that. And in addition, if you schedule a family wealth planning session tonight, we're going to give you a digital asset checklist. I told you about that earlier on, am I right? So please do schedule, and we have the scan for you to pay with your debit card or credit card or pay cash, however you want. We want to make it easy for you. So you get a checklist and you have this $1,000 total gift certificate. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? All righty. So book an appointment today, please, before you leave. The dates, we don't have a lot of dates, okay? So please do so that you get the spots as quick as possible. And a lot of people want to get things done by December. Am I right? All right. So we're now going into questions. Yes, ma'am. Question time. Yes, ma'am. So that's to help you. We don't need that tonight, but it's gonna help you know what are the probate taxes and what are the estate taxes. During the family wealth planning session, we separate all those different types of taxes. Okay? Yeah. So the things that are listed in the probate estate will help you, and you put a value will help you know what your probate tax will be, kind of. All right. All right. Questions? I'm sorry. She raised her hand wasn't after you. Yes, ma'am. Someone that already scheduled an appointment for estate planning. If you come here today and you confirm your name, you can use those. Are you the person? Okay. Then you can make use of the certificates. All right. Did I answer your question? Oh, you had a callback appointment. Let me tell you a little about that. So some people still have some questions, okay? And the one we have what we call a 15 minutes callback appointment. So you the best thing is for you to schedule a family well planning session, which is the 1.5 or 2 hours meeting. All right. However, if you think you're not there or you need a clarifying question, in your yellow orange worksheet section about under the next step section, it says, please have the attorney contact me for a follow-up appointment. Da, da, da. So we have a 15 minutes call back for estate planning where I can speak with you briefly and answer your questions and see if the next level for you is a family role planning session. So maybe that's it. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So the power of attorney is a document. The guardian is a position. If you prepare ahead, if you have a legal document ahead, you have a power of attorney, and in that power of attorney, the agent can be the guardian. But when it goes to the court, the process is called guardianship. You understand? If you don't have a power of attorney, choosing who will act on your behalf as your child's guardian, then the judge will choose for you in a guardianship proceeding. Mm.
If I choose to become, have a guardianship for her, does that take away from people? Like, you can't vote.
So if you become a guardian, then you have a fiduciary responsibility to make decisions for her and to help her with a lot of things. So now you'll be able to act on her behalf. So like voting rights, I don't think so, but maybe you can vote on her behalf with, but I don't think so.
Right. I
No.
just want to know, will she still have the ability to vote for herself?
I believe so. Yes.
So, and a power of attorney is just a document.
Yeah, that's the name of the document. And then you are an agent or a power or attorney in fact or a guardian. Yes. Next question.
For the real estate in the trust.
So in Maryland, fortunately, um, I used to work with a title company, so we know how to prepare the real estate piece of it. So we do help our clients with preparing the deed that transfers their home from their personal names to the names of their living trust, and that's part of the package for one house.
So the personal representative, that also the leadership, is that a conflict of interest?
A lot of people do have the personal representatives as beneficiaries as well. It's not necessarily a conflict of interest.
If I outlive my beneficiary, that's a property, when it comes back to me or back to me.
Yeah, as long as you're alive, the property belongs to you. So if the beneficiary passes away, and the property is still there, it's still yours. But when you now pass away and you've not reviewed or updated your plan, then that beneficiary that is deceased cannot get it. Am I right? So it becomes a residue if there's no other person named as a contingent beneficiary. Any other questions?
Do you idea that you to have the will and the trust to come together, or you have one? When you have trust, you still need to have the will.
Okay. So this is what we do. When we prepare a living trust for our client, we know there are a lot of people that have the will, but they don't implement. Am I right?
Yeah.
And they waste their money. There's this person that prepared a will, a trust, okay? He spends $3,000 with an attorney to get a trust in place. When he passed away, his family still had to go through probate. Why? Because it did not fund his trust. So at this time, the properties that were not funded had to go through probate. And when you get to the probate court, you need a will. Okay? So they were wondering why her father really wanted things done right, Why are we in court? Why do we have to fight with this ex-wife and all that stuff? Well, it was because it's not fund his trust, okay? So to avoid all that, we know that people add assets to their assets, then they forget to fund it. So for example, you have one home where you prepared your trust, then 2 years later you bought another home, then you now bought it in your name, then 2.5 years later something happens, you pass away, then your home is going to go to probate. So what we do is to have what I call it a backup will. And instead of it just being like a simple will that people other you do, it's called a pour over will. Pour over. Okay. So that will, pour over will, we prepared that in addition to the trust. So that but the content is different, okay? The content of the pour over will goes talks about the fact that you created a trust and that your trust should be used to administer your estate. So if you find yourself in probate court, you still present a will, but now the pour over will, but now the pour over will says, let my trust administer my estate, so it takes it out of the court somehow. You get it? So your answer is yes, but a different kind of will called pour over will.
So when you say funded trust, what makes it funded?
That means you transfer title from your personal name to the name of the trust.
And you have a blanket trust that will cover all future assets, because you
So a good lawyer, a good estate planning lawyer will prepare it in such a way that the language will help you to be able to hack your asset. So when you come to me, I'll say, if you buy a new home, make sure you buy it to the name of your trust. So you don't have to change anything. All you need to do is update your asset spreadsheet to include your new assets. And when you sell a home, you take it out. Do you understand? So it's the trust will continue to be. When you need to make like significant changes in the terms, then you have um, a restatement. That's what it's called, like a codicil, you know. All right, we just have 5 minutes left. Did I answer all questions? Did you enjoy tonight's session? Did you learn a lot? Thank you so much. You know what we want you to do? Go to the back, pick a date, schedule a family work planning session with $20. You can use the QR code, you can use your cash. If you don't, come by our office or call our office phone number to make a payment over the phone. We would like and we would love to speak with you. We would like to help your family do things the right way. We want to have your business. We want you to have the peace of mind of knowing that your family is kept out of court and out of conflict in the event of incapacity or death. Thank you so much for coming tonight. If you like this, please invite someone. We have one more session on Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, tell your adult children, tell them to please come. If they've not yet, registration closes tomorrow. With the registration link, it closes tomorrow night, so they can still register up till tomorrow night. And if they don't register, they should still show up. Alrighty. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us today. We appreciate it. We want to see you and serve you in the near future. If you have additional questions, you can please walk up and I'll answer them. And please submit your orange worksheet at the back. The orange worksheet, please give it to my at the back.
I feel everyone will actually benefit from this question. Okay, so, yeah, the question is, so you kept saying fully funded.